Springer Mathematics to its presentation on our book and journal Latin American portfolio. As Andrea and I were just talking, we'd like to record this meeting. So I hope this is okay. But first, we want to welcome everyone and hope everyone is having a great start to the Math Congress of the Americas. And we know you have a lot of opportunities within MCA and outside of MCA to spend the next 45 minutes. So we appreciate that you're joining us to learn a bit more about our Latin American portfolio. I am Mark Strauss, Editorial Director of our Mathematics Journals program. Robinson, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Well, my name is Robinson dos Santos. I am one of the editors for the math team. I work in Sao Paulo, and I'm based in Sao Paulo, and we have an office in the Faria Lima Avenue.
Clemens, do you want to go next?
Yeah, okay. My name is Clemens Heine. I'm a journal editor in mathematics, mainly responsible for the Burkhauser portfolio. So, yeah, I think that's it.
Razi, are you there? I don't know if Razi is here, but we also want to welcome our guests today as well, who will be joining us in presenting. Ramon Plaza, Claudia Goratsky, and Marcela Viana, and they are our editors-in-chief of the Bulletin de la Sociedad Matemática Mexicana, the Sao Paulo Journal of Mathematical Sciences, and the Bulletin of the Brazilian Mathematical Science. And they'll be presenting at the end of our presentation to tell you a little bit more about their three very important journals in our portfolio and how you can help us to develop them. So why don't we start, Robinson, and if you want to go to the next couple of slides.
Okay.
And great, thank you. So we're going to start with the slide that you usually see at the very end, which is a slide thanking our book and journal partners in Latin America. We have wonderful partners in Brazil, obviously, in Mexico, in Chile. So we really want to thank you for starting these fruitful collaborations with us and making them more fruitful year in year as we develop these book series and journals. Another big reason why we're doing this in the first place is because we want to expand our partnerships in Latin America. We think there's a great deal of untapped potential here, both from a books and journals perspective. Robinson will be telling you in a few minutes about his new book series from Latin America. But we've got four main journals from Brazil and Mexico and want to expand our collaboration. I think everyone knows in our efforts to develop all of our journals that we emphasize proactively how we want to develop them from an international perspective. And although that is important and continues to be important for us, we want very much our journals in Latin America to, in some ways, return to their hometown roots. I mean, what we've seen recently with the expansion internationally for these journals is a diminishing of submissions from Latin America. So we very much are looking for submissions, not just from Brazil or Mexico, but from all of Latin America as well. And also to tap into the Latin American diaspora. Those researchers who are from Latin America originally, but now maybe working in Western Europe or Eastern Europe or the United States or Canada. So as I said, that's a very important aspect of developing these journals in the future, and book series. And without further ado, I'm going to turn this now over to my fine colleague and friend, Robinson dos Santos, to talk to you a little bit about our Latin American book portfolio.
Thanks, Mark. Well, I'm glad to have this opportunity to share more information about our book program in Latin America. First, let me start by introducing some information about our team. I'm part of a team of over 20 publishing editors that that they are located in many places around the world. I'm based in Sao Paulo, and I work closely with people from all these places, from Basel to Tokyo, including London, Milan, Heidelberg. And in this picture, you'll see the building where we have an office in the center of Sao Paulo, very close to the University of Sao Paulo too. And what we publish, we publish from textbooks to lecture notes, conference proceedings, and I have chosen some books for this gallery that was published by authors from Latin America, basically. But of course, this gallery also reflects the fruitful cooperation between institutions from Latin America and other places as well. And you will also see how textbooks are important in our region. Many of these titles are textbooks, which reflects in some way how mathematicians from Latin America are concerned about fostering information and to have more people interested in these topics. Let me move on to the next slide regarding cooperations, because in this sense, cooperations are very important, not only to Springer, but we understand that when we create a cooperation with an institution in our region, we are providing an opportunity for authors and institutions to get an international presence. So we are proud to list all these cooperations here with IMPA, the Brazilian Society of Applied Mathematics, the State University of Campinas in Brazil, Center for Mathematical Modeling in Chile, and Federal University of São Carlos, and the IMCA in Peru. We have books published in cooperation with all these institutions. And in a way to foster this kind of cooperation, we have created a new series called Latin America Mathematics. With this series, we want to provide a new opportunity for institutions in our region to create their own editorial board and to create this content. Let's be textbooks, monographs, and contributed volumes that could bring the logo of the institution, and all these institutions can benefit from Springer distribution around the world. Let's move on to the next slide. Regarding publishing opportunities, we also see not only in Latin America, but specifically in Latin America, we see many research groups working with interdisciplinary topics. And we have all these opportunities or series to get this research output published. We are looking for, specifically talking about, we are looking for books on related to the SDGs, the development, the special sustainable development goals of the United Nations, and also books related to the mathematics of planet Earth. So there are many more opportunities in these fields. Data science is also a field that we are paying attention. And we see that in this region, we have many new graduate programs in data science. And all that means that we need more textbooks for these students and contributed volumes to promote the output of this research. And now this means opportunity for authors. Let me move on to the next slide. Well, finally, I want to mention this possibility of having books published in open access using a Creative Commons license. It's becoming more and more prominent. And not only, if you think about authors, perhaps authors can have more difficulty in finding funding, but we at Springer have a team specialized in helping authors to find proper funding for open access books. And the readers, of course, the readers like these books not only because they are free for download, but all these books are becoming more and more known by students and teachers around the world. I invite you all to visit our webpage dedicated to open access books and browse our list and download some of them just to see how it works. Okay. Well, finally, I'll be glad to receive book proposals from you all. And well, I expect to help you in our author journey to work with us. Thanks so much. Well, if you have some questions, specifically talking about publication, I'll be happy to answer. If not, Mark could. Let's see.
Is that the
Yeah.
I think that's all.
is that okay? Andrea is sending it. Okay, good. All right. Should we move on to journals, Robinson?
Sure. Oops.
All right, we're going to tell you a little bit about our 4 journals that are our mainstays for our Latin America content, which is Computational and Applied Mathematics, the Bulletin of the Brazilian Mathematical Society, Sao Paulo Journal of Mathematical Sciences, and the Bulletin de la Sociedad Matemática Mexicana. I hope I didn't garble that too badly. But before I do that, I want to talk a little, just for a minute, about how Springer Nature is advancing open science. Anyone who's been reading the publishing news lately knows about Springer and their transformative journal strategy, transformative agreement strategy to further open access opportunities. But beyond business models, we're doing a lot on the open science free access front as well. And one, I think those of us, you who have published with Springer Nature know that amongst publishers in general, we have the most liberal self-archiving green OA policy. Authors are encouraged even, besides just being permitted to self-archive a preprint and an author's accepted manuscript version of their article. They can put it on their own institutional websites. They can put it on the archive. There's opportunities after an embargo period to put it on social media sites as well. So that is something that, as I say, we not only condone, permit, but also encourage, because we're really open to promoting wonderful research that eventually publishes in our journals. The other thing on the free access front is Shared It, which is a service not just our Latin American journals are outfitted with, but every single Springer Nature journal has shared it. And what this is a platform that allows anyone with electronic access to any of our journals to share any article with colleagues, with friends, for free, complete in-browser reading of any article that they are sent a link to for sharing. So authors, once they publish their manuscript, receive a shared link that they can send to their friends and colleagues or put on a social media site. As I said, if you're an editorial board member, a reviewer, a subscriber to the journal, there's a shared link at the bottom of every single article that you can send to friends and colleagues. So I think it's a real boon for open science free access. And we're proud to be at the forefront of this movement through Shared It and our OA policies. So let me turn this over now to Senior Editor Razia Amzad, who's going to tell us about our Computational Applied Mathematics journal.
We can move on to the next slide, please. All right, so Computational and Applied Mathematics is a collaborative work with SBMac. Currently, the EIC is Jose Eduardo Souza de Cruzi, and this journal covers applied and computational mathematics, which intersect physics, engineering, chemistry, biology, statistics, social sciences, the economy, and operations research. Currently, it's ranked in the first quartile of applied mathematics within Web of Science. It is part of our continuous article publication. So articles are assigned and published to issues as they're released from production. Currently, 1/4 of the papers published in this journal originate solely from Brazil. So we do have a strong presence in South America, primarily because of the society, but we'd like to grow it. And with that, this journal also publishes 300 papers annually and saw a growth of 87% in citations alone between 2019 and 2020. So yeah, I encourage you all to take a look at this journal, and if you have an idea for a collection or a special issue, feel free to contact myself or the EIC. And then I'll pass it back to Mark, who will tell you about the next journal.
Thank you, Razia. That was great. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Bulletin of the Brazilian Mathematical Society, and Marcela Viana, who is our editor-in-chief, I hope will make it to talk a little bit about this by the end.
I'm here.
Oh, good, Marcelo. Good. Sorry, I hadn't seen you. Well, welcome, and thank you for joining us. And chime in here now if you want. But this is we want to tell you a little bit about the Brazilian, the Bulletin of the Brazilian Mathematical Society, which of course is published in conjunction with the Brazilian Mathematical Society, and this is the new series, which and the journal was relaunched in 1989, and we're very proud to be partners here. Some of you who already subscribe to this journal have access, know that we've been publishing a lot of the very seminal articles in areas such as differential geometry, PDEs, dynamical systems, algebraic geometry. It's meant to be a very broad in scope theoretical core mathematics journal. And we're proud to have seen such growth of this journal throughout the years. We are indexed in Web of Science and SCI, the expanded index. Our impact factors never been higher than it is this year, and are very proud of that. We're also indexed in Math Reviews, Scopus, and Web of Science, and look forward to receiving your submissions to help us to continue to expand on this journal. Robinson, you want to go to the next slide? And
Yes.
then
Sure.
next is our Sao Paulo Journal of Mathematical Sciences. Editor-in-chief is Claudio Gorodsky, and please stay till the end of this because we're going to hear from Claudio, Ramon, and Marcelo about their journals and what they're looking for submissions. And this is a journal that is published in collaboration with the University of Sao Paulo's Institute of Mathematics and Statistics. Also meant to be a very broad in scope journal as well, but also covering applied mathematics and those interdisciplinary areas related to mathematics and at the foundation of mathematics, such as computer science and statistics. And so we've been publishing a lot of really interesting articles in PDEs and dynamical systems as well. And also, this is a journal that is indexed in Math Review, Scopus. One of our main goals is to kind of move this over the hump, so to speak, from the emerging Science Citation Index into the Science Citation Index. So we really will appreciate your help with submissions to help us do that so that we can garner a number of citations to help us and to reach this objective. But we have really grown a great deal so far in recent years, thanks to the wonderful work of Claudio and the very dedicated editorial board for the Sao Paulo Journal. So thank you there, community.
Right. Now we switch to the green side of the life, of the journal's life, meaning Birkhäuser. As you know, yellow is more or less Springer and green is Birkhäuser. Green is the color of the hope and the color of the strong developments. No, I'm joking. I'm not really joking.
You're also the Springer editor.
Yeah, I know, but now I'm speaking for Birkhäuser. We have a good collaboration with the Sociedad Mexicana, and well, as you see, this is now the journal. Well, it's now in the third series, and it started in '95, and it switched over to Birkhäuser early of the 21st century. And the journal is really developing, and I have not really taken all the metrics here because I think the most important thing is that it is by content very strongly developing, and maybe Ramon is as the representative of the editors-in-chief can say a few words on that before he takes before Marcelo or Claudio takes over. Maybe Ramon, you can say a few words on that.
Sure. Thanks, Clemens, and thanks, Mark. Yeah, the Boletín de la Sociedad Matemática Mexicana is actually the only journal published by the Society and Birkhäuser devoted to research. It's a journal that has a long-standing tradition. It was first published in 1955, until 1955 and before that. And it has been published in 40 volumes so far. And our dream, my dream and of the editors is to see in this journal more contributions by our Latin American colleagues and our European colleagues and American, Canadian colleagues. Most of mathematicians from Mexico have collaborations with Latin American colleagues and people from Europe and United States and Canada. So our goal would be to see these very strong collaboration reflected in our local journal. So this is our first dream. And second, as Mark mentioned, we would like to have to restore our our index in the SCI soon. So we invite you to contribute and to look at the journal as a possibility for communicating your science. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. One thing that we want to emphasize, and I believe 3 of these 4 journals are actively publishing special issues, is how special issues and topical collections are an excellent vehicle for developing content in these journals and in all of our journals. It's something that we're talking about a lot. And special issues and topical collections can be based on a cutting edge topic. It can be based on a conference. It can be a grouping of papers, or it can be a full proceedings of a conference on a very high quality conference. Or we've done a number of special issues recently honoring pioneers in the field. Claudio, you've done a number of them recently. We have a special issue on Manfredo del Carmo, Ivan Shostakov, and Joe Wolf recently, all published in the Sao Paulo Journal. So Claudio is a real expert on that that aspect of publishing topics on special issues and topical collections. So what is interesting about topical collections and what is different between that and special issues are, when you think of a special issue, that is something that publishes as a separate issue within a journal. A topical collection articles are thematically based, but they publish in regular issues. And the advantage of thinking about publishing a thematically linked topical collection is it can be just a few articles. Doesn't necessarily have to be 10, 12, 15 articles that take up a whole issue. You can develop a topical collection on an emerging cutting edge topic, or want to commemorate, honor a pioneer in the field, but you can do it with just a few articles, which will then be dispersed throughout a number of issues, but then they are aggregated on a separate platform within the journal, so that all the articles exist together, but also published when they're ready to be published in separate issues. So if you have an idea for a special issue or a topical collection, anything thematically linked, please contact your EICs about that, or one of us in these journals. There's actually a very,
Would you like me to?
Yeah, I was just saying there's a very good quote, which totally unrelated, which came from a different article from Paolo Crosetto of Italy, who is putting in a real plug for topical collections and special issues that we found and we put in, and that has nothing to do with Springer. He was just trying to say it's a good way of consolidating networks, bringing communities together, and building and developing content. All right, we should move on because we want our EICs to have a chance to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Any quick questions about the journals? All right, maybe.
I think so.
Yeah, maybe we should have Claudio and Marcelo speak a little bit now. Is that?
Sure. Let's go by alphabetical order.
So I start then?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So thanks a lot for the opportunity to talk about Sao Paulo Journal. And I want to thank Mark for the introduction. And well, of course, as any other journal, what we really want to do is to publish good papers, right? More and more good papers. And now, Sao Paulo Journal started in the 90s, but it was a different kind of journal, published more only invited papers in the beginning, and our partnership with Springer started in 2015. And I joined the editorial board in 2013, so 2 years before, and we can see really a large increase in the visibility of the journal. So we're very content, very glad with the partnership with Springer and the assistance of Mark and Robinson and the other editors. And of course, as Mark mentioned, our immediate goal is to join this main index, SCI of Web of Science, right? So we're looking forward to that. That's our immediate goal, and we are working hard to achieve that. So in fact, we have this program of publishing periodically some special issues. And I think we have been able to put together very good special issues. And we have more coming up. And this is something which helps the journal, I think. But we have also seen a large increase in the number of submissions and downloads in recent years. So that's very good. And just to finish, I want to mention that historically, originally, the Sao Paulo Journal had a very wide scope, but it is a generalist journal, but we think that in some sense we should try to focus on some more relevant areas of mathematics, relevant to mathematics in general, relevant to Brazilian mathematics in particular, maybe. So we try to work with the editorial board to achieve that, but this is like, I mean, it's not an immediate change, but we slowly would like to focus on some more, make this scope a little bit more narrow, because we think this could help the journal. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudio. Marcelo, do you want to go next, and then we can see if there are any questions about any of our journals?
Sure. So thank you very much, Mark, for this opportunity. And I'm also glad to see Robinson again. It's been a long time. The pandemic has kept us apart. It's a pleasure to be here with you. The Bulletin of the Brazilian Math Society is the flagship publication of SBM. It was created shortly after the society was founded in 1969, but it went through some changes over the years, of course. And one important change happened in 1989, which is when Springer got involved in the distribution, got in charge of the distribution of the journal. And that's also when the new series was launched. And another important change happened about 5 years ago, when Springer took not only the distribution, but also the production of the journal, and the papers, submissions, and the whole flow of papers started being processed through the Springer editorial manager. I became chief editor in 2018, by the end of 2018. And so since then, we have been trying to shore up the not only the reputation of the journal, but also try to increase the flow of very good papers. The bulletin accepts papers in literally any area of mathematics, including applications, although of course that's not where the center of mass of submissions is. So one of the things that we were concerned with was to broaden the editorial board. That's one of the assets of the journal, really. It historically has had an extremely strong editorial board, and that's something that we want to preserve, but also at the same time to broaden the expertise of the board members, and that is, I would say, has been a very successful effort in these last few years. Another asset of the bulletin is the time frames are quite short. The average time for a response from the journal is quite low when compared to similar vehicles. So authors are bound to have a very quick reaction from the journal concerning their submissions. From daily processing of the journals, I've had the impression that the the volume of very good submissions has increased in recent years. So that was my subjective impression, but that turns out to be confirmed by objective data, in particular by the evolution of the impact factor, which, as Mark mentioned, has reached its maximum value ever for the bulletin, and that of course leaves us makes us very happy and very confident that this process will continue. So I would summarize by saying that I find the collaboration with Springer in the production and publication of the bulletin history of success, and we look forward to continue this collaboration. And of course, we invite everyone to submit your very best papers to the Bulletin of the Brazilian Math Society, where they will be most welcome. Thank you all.
Thank you, Marcelo. Ramon, did you want to say anything else about the Bulletin of the Mexican Mathematical Society Journal? Are you?
Well, I just want to thank Clemens and all the team in Birkhäuser, because after the Bulletin joined Birkhäuser, the visibility of the journal has increased a lot. And I believe that we are working very hard as a team in order to make the Bulletin more visible. And as I previously said, to reflect the strong collaboration between the Mexican mathematical community with our colleagues all around the world. Thanks.
Excellent. Any questions about the 4 journals that we presented today? All right, Robinson, maybe we should finish off then.
Okay, let me move to the next slide.
Okay.
Okay, well, Mark, if you allow me, I want to invite everybody to listen to our new Springer Math podcast. It's a new initiative made for our readers and authors. We have our first episode available on this website, and the second one will be available very soon, probably this week. We will interview Catherine Leonard from the Association of Women in Mathematics.
Sorry, a question, a series of interviews in this podcast. This is the idea?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So
Well, it's a, since Robinson just spoke about Catherine Leonard and the AWM, it's an auspicious time to talk about our newest society collaboration, although this is not a Latin American journal. It's an important new society collaboration for us, and that is La Matamatica, which is the first journal that the Association for Women in Mathematics has developed, and it is their official society journal. So we're proud to be their partners, that they chose us as their publisher as well. And it's an important time to launch this journal, since the AWM, which started in 1971, is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. So this is meant to be another very broad in scope journal, very interdisciplinary as well. So it will cover some applications that are related to computer science, statistics, engineering as well. But it will really try its best to not only reflect the research that is presented by the AWM, but the broader scope of international research that all mathematicians touch upon. So all through theoretical and applied and computational mathematics, again, that research that is also at the intersection of computer science, statistics, and engineering as well will be covered. And I think you would look at this and think our editors-in-chief are also important people within the AWM. Donatella Daniele of Arizona State University, Catherine Leonard of Occidental College in LA, who is president of the AWM, Michelle Manis, University of Hawaii, and Amy Radonskaya, who's at Pomona College, California. And I think seeing their names and seeing this association with the AWM, it's easy to think that this is a journal that is just by and for women. But no, this is meant for everyone. We have a large editorial board of 85 mathematicians, researchers. About a third of them are men. We welcome submissions from any gender all over the world as well. And it is meant to be a journal that really supports equitable practices in STEM and mathematical publishing. So it's interesting. It'll be, the first articles are due to publish in the autumn for the first issue, which will be in January. There's a double-blind peer review process to facilitate equitable practices. So we look forward to your support and seeing submissions for this journal as well. So thank you. And Robinson, you want to talk about the promo code, or?
Oh yeah. Well, I also invite everybody to take advantage of this discount, which was created especially for the Mathematical Congress of the Americas. You just need to use the code MCA21 and during the checkout, and the discount will appear. Of course, if you are a Springer author, you have an even bigger discount of 40%. Yeah, that's not the main reason, but another reason to be a Springer author, of course. Okay.
Well, I guess finally, we just want to thank everyone for your attendance today. As we said, we know you can spend your 45 minutes at another presentation or doing something else, since MCA is virtual, of course, and everyone's got a lot of other responsibilities to take care of. So we thank you for spending the last 45 minutes or so with us. And we hope it was informative. I hope you learned a bit more about our Latin American portfolio in our books portfolio, as well as our journal portfolio. and that we look forward to seeing your submissions to both our books and journal program. And I guess if there are no final questions, we can depart. Anyone, Robinson, Clemens, Razia, anything else you'd like to say?
No.
Yeah, I want to thank you to the organizers for this opportunity. It was
Yeah, absolutely.
really
Thank you very much to all of you.
Yeah, Andrea, thank you.
I will stop recording now.
All right, good. Thank
Okay.
you.